I've seen a lot of disturbing shit. From films that creep me to the core, to special effects that make me sick to my stomach, real death, even films involving puke and scat. When it comes to horror films, people often talk about what's their limit, what is the most disturbing, how far can you go? There are a lot of films that people just simply can't handle, with the productions of those films being fake and safe. Then you have some films that take it to a different level, involving some real pain involved, where actors and actresses have to sign waivers and even say safe words if things get too intense. Films like The Bunny Game and several of the Lucifer Valentine films. Today, we go not one, but perhaps a few steps deeper, talking about films that the actions may in fact not be consensual. And with that, let me introduce you to some of the sickest films you may ever hear of. The title of the series is Shrouded in Mystery. For those who know of it, may refer to it as the LPS series, and others may refer to it as the Animal Gore series. I was extremely floored and a little intimidated to get my hands on these films, courtesy of Jonathan Doe from Cinema's Underbelly. Unfortunately, I can't find the titles of these films. One, they're extremely rare. Number two, from pictures of the bootlegs that I have seen, all of them are written in Japanese, and I cannot read Japanese. I've heard some people refer to them as the LPS series, being on the bootleg. On the spines of the DVDs, it says LPS. LPS may be in fact the name of the production company or something else, I don't know. I have no idea what LPS stands for, so we're just going to refer to this as the Animal Gore series. According to Jonathan Doe, there exist 12 films in this series. I own 3 of them, 6, 7, and 8. But apparently all 12 films are pretty much the same thing. Now, for films with this kind of subject matter, I am kind of obligated to give some sort of disclaimer. What I'm about to discuss is very disturbing, and for those who have a weak stomach, just do me a favor, click off the video now. But if you're still here we go. Each of the films that I have seen begin like a typical Japanese porno, with girls being interviewed on the couch, the men undressing them, tickling with feathers, and including other sex toys. This goes on for a while, and eventually the girls are then blindfolded and taken into another room. In this other room, we find a naked man waiting for them in a cage. On the floor of the cage is what looks like to be real blood, intestines, and even pig heads. Once the men unveil the girls' blindfolds, the girls are immediately freaked out, and the men begin torturing them. They start light by mocking them, throwing blood on them, and throwing intestines on them. There's a lot of dialogue going on, but unfortunately there are no subtitles in these films, so I cannot understand what is going on, other than the fact that these girls are freaked out beyond belief. But we don't need subtitles to realize that these girls are 100% uncomfortable. Things escalate when the men rip off the girls' underwear and begin involving animal parts in sexual acts. And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but they rape the girls with the animal parts and then take them out of the cage and begin raping them themselves. The men climax and the girls continue to scream until the film cuts to black. I've seen a lot of disturbing films, especially a lot of these Japanese fetish films. I've seen several of these films like Terrible Meal, Squirm Fest, but the Animal Gore series has to be the most fucked up, beyond belief, Japanese fetish films, or films of any nature, that I've ever seen. And quite possibly the most vile films that exist in this world. From the looks of it, it looks like the films were made during the late 80s, early 90s, and actual production teams were used in the making of the Animal Gore films. We can see people filming and even taking photographs of what's going on set. But was there consent involved? That's the real question. As I said, the film looks like it's from the late 80s and early 90s, and at this time, the Yakuza had a large role in the production and distribution of several Japanese adult films. With that being said, this leads me to believe that the Animal Gore films may be 100% in fact unscripted, and unsimulated films. Forget about fetish films, these could in fact be rape films. In many of the other fetish films out there that involve puke or scad, the actresses seem calm and expect the expected, but in these LPS films, none of the girls expect what is about to happen to them. I have searched high and low for any information regarding these films, and unfortunately I've come up empty-handed. There is text at the beginning of these films, but they're written in Japanese. Again, there are no subtitles throughout the film, so I cannot understand anything that is being said. Some of the bootlegs that do exist out there have translations that may or may not be in fact the real translations of these titles. In one of the films, there's a water stamp at the top right of the screen with a website, but obviously that website no longer exists. So here's my big question. Is this actually a thing? And that is simulated or real rape fetish films involving animal parts and blood? Or is the animal gore series one of a kind? I have an iron stomach and can handle a lot, but the animal gore series may be in fact the sickest films that I have ever seen. If you have any information on these films, definitely drop a comment down below. So that's gonna do it for today, guys. It feels great to be back on camera after my little vacation. At the time, I'm not going off of any schedule, but I will try to upload a video at least once a week. In the meantime, make sure to follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, to stay posted on what I'm doing behind the scenes of making these videos. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below saying what do you think of these films, and do you think that they're real or fake? And does this genre of these fetish films really exist? Until next time, take care and stay scared.